It's time to predict the future again. Don't underestimate how many times I've done this. Who's gonna win, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Literally deja vu. 4 years ago in 2020, I accurately predicted Joe Biden would beat Donald Trump, and that video almost got 1 million views. Back then, of course, we were using the political machine 2020, though. What's crazy is the final electoral map wasn't even that far off. I mean, Biden did win, but in terms of points or electoral votes, it was kind of accurate. For reference, this is the actual 2020 electoral map. So the simulation obviously has AI versus AI, which is what we're using today. What's cool about this 2024 version is we can do primary simulations as well. Before I start this, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I want to do a lot more content with this game as well as just games with maps in general. I'm a big geography nerd. And if you are too, by subscribing, it helps to show me that I'm not alone, I guess. As well as if you like country balls, please check that top link in the description down below to makeship.com. I'm currently selling Poland-Lithuania ball as well as the Holy Roman Empire ball as plushies, but they're always only for limited times. Gonna have to watch closely on what exactly is going on, but there's usually always something going on here. I'm always making different plushies. So here's the starting map. Let's see who's gonna win. I love that at the time of releasing this video, we are about 28 weeks out from the actual presidential election. This is going to make it even more accurate. For all my non-Americans out there, we do not just use a popular vote to choose our presidents. You actually have to win a certain number of states, adding up to the number 270. It's really like a giant game, which is kind of funny. Maybe that's why this game ends up being so accurate. So it's really all about the swing states, because there's some very solid blue states and very solid red states. Those states almost always vote party lines. So starting off the game, you can almost guarantee you have a certain amount of support on your side. In fact, we even have a political strategy map. This is Joe Biden's political strategy here. So he's really going to focus on a blue wall up here in the Rust Belt / Midwest, getting him just above that 270 threshold. Trump here is starting off in Florida, which Florida is a pretty key state, although it's leaning more and more red with more Republican voters, but there's also a lot of independents. They say Texas is becoming more and more purple, but it probably will not be purple here in 2024. Planning to see Joe Biden starting off in his home state of Delaware, which is kind of funny. I didn't realize Delaware only has 3 electoral votes. So definitely keep that stuff in mind as the 2 presidential candidates are moving around the map. Because this is just like a giant game, like certain states are going to matter way more than others. So Trump is definitely going to have to lock down Georgia now. He obviously lost this state in 2020, which was really bad. I love that we not only get information about the state's wealth, but also the population in the state. Then we have the state's top issues. It's voter ID, infrastructure reform, stronger law enforcement. You'll notice pretty key differences between the states in the north and the states along the border in the south. A lot of them have border protection as their top #1 issue. Well, it's definitely big for New Mexico and Arizona as well, but California is a little bit different. They want to address homelessness. So California has the most electoral votes, but we did lose one. It used to be 55, now it's 54. I say we because I live in California, but California isn't growing population-wise as much as other states, which is why that happened. So for Joe Biden here, he's probably not worried at all about California, Oregon, or Washington. Those places are pretty much locked down. You could also say the same thing about Hawaii out here. Geez, look at those registered Democrats, 48%. Boom, they're both fighting for Pennsylvania. They know how crucial Pennsylvania is. So we're on week 3, and we have to look forward to who is everyone choosing for vice president, a debate announcement, also the actual national debate. I really wonder if we're going to get an actual debate in real life. I have a feeling it might not happen this year for the first time in a really long time. So both Trump and Biden are setting up these little HQs all around the map. This is providing them different enthusiasm. This is kind of showing us which states they're focusing in on. Interesting to see Biden out here in New Jersey right now. Something definitely to watch is New Hampshire. If Joe Biden starts to have trouble in the Northeast like this, then things are not looking good for him. Right now, in terms of registered voters, it's very close, so it's really going to depend on those independents. Joe Biden, of course, can lose New Hampshire, but that's just a big sign that like the blue wall is beginning to fall, kind of. Of course, both presidential candidates really focusing on this part of the map. Like we said, these are the big swing states. Currently, Trump is projected to win Florida. That's a little bit interesting. Why is Oregon gray? I mean, we probably need to wait on that. It's still too early to tell. More than likely, Biden still has Oregon locked down, but I'm not sure why it's not like light blue at least. There's also political opportunities that are on the map. You have to go there and kind of figure out what those are. Could be good, could be bad. Here's the state vote map mode. So obviously, California and Texas have a lot of state votes, in Florida as well, being the 3rd most populous, and then New York, of course. And then there's also a state wealth map mode. New York obviously has a lot. It's a big financial state. Interesting, both candidates have headquarters here in Illinois. They're both going in after Chicago. Obviously, Illinois is bigger than Chicago, but Chicago is 75% of the population in Illinois. Something crazy like that, or at least the metropolitan area. Projections are showing a very tight race here, 1/4 of the way through. Obviously, there's still plenty of undecided voters, but this is really close. Boom, Ohio has now gone slightly red for Trump. Now, each political candidate has different cards they can use. These cards can help build whatever lobbying team or different people, president president schedule. Also keep in mind this bar here. This is a stamina bar. So I can tell you that Trump has a lot more stamina than Joe Biden does. He's not able to move around quite as much. He's not able to do as many talks or get to as many states. Whereas Donald Trump, he has literally a hyper stamina, which I mean, I don't know. That's how he was also in the 2020 simulation. He's gotten a little bit older. I feel like he might not have that same stamina, but who knows? Obviously, media bias. He's very disliked. Yeah, we literally have Biden's stamina at, well, sleepy, but he is very experienced in terms of government. Also, another thing to look for is funds. Joe Biden has $5.5 million in funds. Trump currently has $6 million. Lol, hand size. So Colorado definitely leans blue, and Biden is definitely showing that. California is obviously liking Joe Biden's top scoring issues like immigration reform, addressing climate change, and infrastructure funding. Gang support from Belladonna, pop icon, increased enthusiasm by 2% in all states. That's a strategy that Biden can decide to use at any point. Interesting to see Trump even step foot in California. It's still very early. I mean, I'm sure later on in the election season, he probably won't be going to these blue states. You can definitely see just watching the map, like Trump is traveling a lot more than Biden. Biden has just been sitting in Florida for a minute right now. Ooh, Biden has pulled ahead in Pennsylvania. It's slightly blue. Environmental protection is a big issue for Pennsylvania. See, Biden is going to do better on that than Trump. They're both actually in New Jersey. Why are they both in New Jersey? This is actually creepy. Look at Biden like stand behind Trump like the insidious guy. I have no idea why that came into my head right now. Trump has an ad effectiveness decrease by 40%. Although polls are showing that he's still 2% ahead. I would love an alternative history DLC where they, for some reason, have like Canada as like the 51st state, maybe Mexico too, and then, you know, doing the electoral college that way. We see so many maps like that. They're so cool. There's also Cuba and Haiti and Dominican Republic down here. Just seeing that Trump even has a campaign HQ here in Alabama. That's pretty much locked down. A big win for him is he looks like he's going to keep Georgia for now. At least it is light red. Georgia was a big one that he lost last time. Like I said, Biden just chilling here in Virginia. Remember, he also won that state back in 2020. Keep in mind, Nebraska, they divide up the state's electoral votes to match more of the population. So even though in total they have 5, they gave 1 to the Democrats, and that's actually the same in Maine. They gave 1 to the Republicans. So overall, you know, a lot of the points still went to the majority party, but it is kind of a sign of how the electoral college could change in the future, because there's a lot of talk about more states joining with that system. It's about time these candidates choose their vice president. Now, it's not necessarily a lock that Biden chooses Kamala Harris. He could choose pretty much anyone that he wants, basically. I like how his head's bobbing around while I'm touching him. Why did I say it like that? That just sounds... All right, they both kind of do that. Holy crap, they've joined. So Biden has chosen Marianne Williamson to be his new vice president. He didn't want Kamala to be there anymore. Oh my goodness. And Trump has chosen Ted Cruz. I knew that face. Oh, they're both out here in New Hampshire, I guess. That's interesting. That would be hilarious if he did actually choose Ted Cruz. I don't know why. They've just had quite the past together. They kind of go way back. So Texas is definitely not going to be purple in this simulation. It's very dark red now. Looks like Florida is still kind of up for a debate. It's kind of, they're fighting. Now, the good thing about Marianne Williamson is she's going to have, I think, a bit more stamina for Biden. She's going to be able to go around to a lot more states. A bodyguard is protecting Biden. It will block the next one card that targets them directly. Oh, nice. Wait, did Texas become dark red because Donald Trump chose Ted Cruz as his running mate? Because Ted Cruz is the senator there, right? Oh, Florida's officially purple now. Okay, so we're getting into the purple phases as we close down on the actual election day. Ted Cruz still hammering away at New Hampshire. That's the one that he could possibly win in the Northeast. Everything else is definitely blue. Surprised to see Marianne Williamson even in Louisiana. Like, is there even a chance? I mean, there is a lot of independent registered voters, but still. Oh man, the debates have been announced and it's going to be held in Florida. Yeah, if Trump loses Florida, that's really, really bad. If it starts to lean blue, that's bad. Like, he needs Florida and a lot more, especially with the way this map is already kind of looking. Illinois in light blue, but there's obviously still a lot of battling happening for the Midwest. Ohio is no longer a little red anymore. Maybe part of it is stricter drug policy. I think with time, during weeks, the state's top issues change. Obviously, California is now a solid blue. Both candidates are really trying to pull up the state's enthusiasm to vote. This is another one of those maps that change every week. Slowly, certain states getting more excited than others, again, as we head towards the actual election day. Interesting that Trump doesn't have Kentucky locked down either, and Biden is trying to poke away at that. And here is the debates. The debates will be taking place in Florida, and this is probably going to decide what, well, not necessarily, but it could decide what this state decides to end up doing. I just want to say the map does not guarantee anything. When we actually get to the final day and the election happens, it's still kind of like a coin toss. There's definitely some surprising things that happen. Jeez, he's chilling still. And is this all Ted Cruz is doing, just chilling in New Hampshire? Oh my goodness. Okay, Louisiana is officially purple. I guess I was wrong. They clearly saw like a little weakness there. There are a lot of Democratic registered voters in Louisiana. So maybe state enthusiasm is really helping getting more people out to vote. Nevada is also leaning blue. So Missouri and Kentucky are toss-ups here. We can see what each candidate is doing week to week, and we can see exactly their assets as well. Cards, advertisements, think tanks in Hawaii and certain states, obviously. One of the top issues in the nation is college expenses and student debt, which obviously Joe Biden is going to have the advantage there. And then the second one is expand Medicaid and Medicare. That's obviously going to go blue as well. Addressing inflation is about 50-50. Renewable energy, nationalism, all sorts of different topics there. I literally don't think Ted Cruz is doing anything. He's literally just sitting there. Maybe he's trying to sabotage. He's still mad about the past. Oh my goodness, Texas is purple. Also, North Carolina is blue. This is looking extremely bad for Trump. Really, really bad. He has 6 weeks to turn it around, though. He just slapped down a card effect in Massachusetts. Trump is seeking to endorse the Industrial Workers Alliance in Massachusetts. Okay. Campaign speech topped Joe Biden's schedule in Texas, focusing on approval of natural gas and oil. So they like that, apparently. Wow, there's a lot of things going on in Texas. This blue wall is beginning to form, but remember, unless it's like a deep dark color, during election day, you don't know. It still could be surprising. And this is literally what happened in at least 2016. Polls and the projections were all wrong. This game does still reflect that. So the map could be showing one thing, but I have seen this simulation completely like throw you, just throw out a crazy twist, basically. Trump does have Indiana, so he probably needs to at least lock down Wisconsin at the very least. Because a lot of these states are purple, that still could mean it goes red. If you think about it, if it's unlikely odds, but if all the states that are purple still goes Trump here, it's going to be extremely close, which they definitely might be leaning that way. We just don't know yet. Trump did just get off Ohio. Why did I say it like that? It's now gray again. It's not officially purple, though. He definitely needs to lock down the states back at home for this to even be close. I mean, just less purple would be good for him. Yeah, I don't know if Ted Cruz is bugged or what, but it's still there. I mean, that is it's something. If they get New Hampshire, it's a good old 4 votes, but Nevada is now looking more and more towards Biden. There is 2 weeks left in this game. This is what's going to kill Trump if he does lose this. Like, these being the top issues, you're obviously it's a landslide if this is the American public's top issues. And that's the thing about this game, is that it always kind of changes. We don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. Issues are constantly changing every week. Both, once again, fighting for Florida. This is very interesting. If Trump, from this projection, if Trump somehow locks down all the purple states and just rips away Ohio, then he can still win, even though he'd lose the popular vote just like he did in real life in 2016. Well, he lost the popular vote both times, but whoa, Oregon is now purple. How did that happen? Oregon's top issue is environmental protection, also stricter gun control. Oregon is pretty normally very solidly blue. North Carolina, once again, is purple. This still might be really close. I keep saying that, but this is starting to close down. Things are getting closer as we enter only 1 week away from the election day. It's really only a couple solidly red places. Georgia being one of them. I mean, that's the one dub here that so far Trump has got, but he's taken a lot of L's. Everyone's fighting for Florida. This is going to be crazy. Wow, they're both here. They're both in Florida. I wonder if their geographic placement matters at all, because Trump was in Miami versus Biden, who's in northern Florida. Okay, here we go. Here's the election day. Again, let's see what happens. This is all going to go blue, the Northeast. Okay, well, Ted Cruz did one thing, and he did win New Hampshire. That's something. Let's see Pennsylvania. That's a big one. Oh, it's blue. Oh, boy. Oh, it's over. That could probably already guarantee. Let's see about this. If that goes blue too, okay, Florida's red. I don't know if I want to guarantee. Ohio went red. That went blue. Okay, yeah, this is definitely looking more and more like Joe Biden. Let's see, though, if he pulls anything away. I'm still curious about Texas, because Texas was a purple state here. Does that go blue? Oh, that ended up going red. So Louisiana, he at least won Louisiana. Oh, he won Missouri, too. That's interesting. He was never going to win Minnesota. Here's Nebraska, and the Dakotas. This is all going to be red now. This is all, but let's see Texas. That was a big purple one. Okay, yeah, I was going to say there's no way. There's no way. I think Joe Biden still has this locked down because of, this is over, I think. That went blue. Yep. And he's obviously going to get I thought that was going to go red too. Yeah, he's over. Yeah, Joe Biden just killed it. But that started getting a little bit interesting. He got less votes than he did in real life in 2020. I think he got like 247 electoral votes. And this one, he only got 208. Here's one last look at the map, which doesn't seem that crazy or far-fetched. He did get lucky. He did still win like the the Deep South, the Red Wall for him. You know, Florida, Texas. Losing North Carolina was bad. That could have shifted some things around. And then he definitely needed Ohio. I think he just really, he needed another state in there, probably Ohio and North Carolina. And then, yeah, losing Arizona was bad. Losing Nevada, even though Nevada doesn't have a lot of votes, that was still really bad. He did get some victories. I mean, at least Ted Cruz did one thing. I thought he was sitting there. I mean, I guess he wasn't trying to sabotage him, not necessarily. This is the biggest thing because the American public's top issues was college expenses and expand Medicare. Obviously, Joe Biden was going to be way more popular in those categories. Well, we predicted who was going to win in 2020. Let's see if this comes true. And big thanks to my patrons this month.
Drew, je suis ton père de retour avec le lait, regarde dehors.
Douchebag, amateur archaeology, Carmel
Connor Ich kann ohne Dress Stimme nicht schlafen.
Henry Hedlund, Inquisitor, the beautiful Megan Underwood, John Kansas, Kirito is mentioned, the Mexicans, 760.